Oh, it doesn't even give us a three, two, one, go.
No,
Hello and welcome to me holding a bright blue pen to the Smitty and Bailey podcast. It's not what this is called. It's not what we're
no,
doing. Welcome
no.
to chat number two with Bailey.
hmm
I've been meaning to do it for a couple of days, but we're getting around to it now. And I guess the main point is to share your progress with mainly your chatting about your cycle. Last time we spoke about your endo in the past, your
hmm
polycystic ovaries, and just your health journey. Like we're trying to get you all fixed up. And we've got some progress. We've got people invested and interested. So I guess we're just sharing how things are going for you, what we're doing,
Yeah,
how we're going about it, in case people are interested in you. But more importantly, honestly, like we should all be invested in ourselves. Yeah. So people that want to heal themselves or someone close to them. But
mm.
I don't think there's anything wrong with admitting that someone could watch this, most likely female, and they're either in great pain or really uncomfortable or really out of shape, not knowing where to go, being told you can't do anything about it. And then here's
Mm.
you ruining that paradigm that it's all doom and gloom and genetic and blah, 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 blah. So
Yeah.
when I said to you that I've got notes, I've got 5 words.
Well, it's more than me. So
What I wrote
yeah,
here was last cycle. If you guys haven't checked out video one, go check out video one. But can you please update the audience on your last cycle?
yeah. Um, so the last cycle started pretty much at the start of the month. And it was on time, as in like I woke up that morning that my app said I was meant to start and went to the bathroom and there it was. Like no pain the day before. Felt maybe a little bit sulky is the word that came to mind, but I was a little bit kind of emotional the day or two before, which made me think it was coming. But then in terms of like, yeah, no pain on the day. I was already off work because Tams was sick. And so I got to have kind of like a slow day. But no pain, muscle pain in my legs. I wouldn't even call it muscle
Tiredness.
tiredness. Like my legs felt heavy
Hmm.
and like it's an effort to walk, but in terms of period pain, nothing. It was my lightest period I've had in probably easily 10 years. So it that part of it lasted 3 days. Normally I have a full head
That's just huge. I
7 days.
can't just sit here and just nod my head.
I know.
We're 6 months in, roughly, whatever, six to whatever, and you're your best one in 10 years. So I think that needs, I had to stop you there because maybe I'll cut this piece out or something like that to share with
Yeah, yeah.
people that are wanting to start and oh, it seems too hard. And what if it doesn't work? Oh, it doesn't work straight away. That sucks. This is 6 months in or 7 or 8. So well under a year into trying to fix lots of things. And
Mm.
Bailey's had her lightest and maybe best yet. That's what I wrote down. Like, was this your best cycle? It sounds so weird to ask for me. Sorry. Is this your best cycle, your favorite? Was this your favorite cycle you've
It
ever
was my favorite though. It
had?
was. It was
I
yeah,
know.
three days light as
What a
like
great
I
question. What a great
so
question.
yes. Can't say I've ever been
Write
up.
that down, guys. Next time you're out on a date or a first date and you're just too
What was your
nervous and
best cycle?
stumped, what's your favorite cycle? Anyway,
But yeah, yeah. So like yeah, it lasted 3 days. And then the other 4 days
three.
of like lasted 3 days. And then it was
Well, it was
just like
four, sorry.
random spotting for a couple of days, but not enough that I was like, oh man, I'm, worried about
Yep.
it or anything like that. But yeah, lightest, honestly, the least inconvenienced I have ever been by it.
Yeah, good
Um,
wording. Yeah.
it was just, I mean, you remember I was pretty emotional. My mood was a bit foul. And I wasn't able to regulate. I knew what was happening. I knew
Mm.
how it was presenting, but I just couldn't do anything about it. And I thought if that's the trade-off, that I just kind of withdraw a little bit. Like I
Yeah.
wasn't busy or anything, but
No,
like
I was waiting till you finished, but
on,
I might as well jump in now. You weren't foul at all. Strong
oh,
wording.
I
You
felt
felt a
well.
bit off, and maybe that does become less, or you just learn how to deal with it. Obviously, I've never had the experience really. I joked in the
Yeah.
last chat that we had, remember that it's similar to hunger. So I did experience that with you today, right? Even though it wasn't hunger in the stomach, it was like I could feel my mood was shifting. It is uncomfortable, and emotional is a word to use, but you definitely weren't foul.
Yeah.
But
No,
yeah,
no.
off like I was today. So
But yeah, in terms of that, it was just probably, yeah, no migraine, no period pain, no heavy for 7 days and feeling like it's all doom and gloom.
yeah,
Like I was fine. I was training
yeah,
during it, like
good
felt
one.
fine
Yeah,
at the gym.
yeah,
I wasn't scared of like it, as I said, least inconvenienced I have ever been.
yeah.
Like if
Good
the
word.
rest of it was like that, I'm happy with my
Yeah.
life. Like that, it was honestly, it was great.
Least inconvenience you've been. Best wording for this. Best way to describe this one as far as best cycle or favorite cycle. The least inconvenience. Didn't have to take time off. Didn't have to stop training. Didn't interrupt your life, which is huge. The pain was lower. You were able to at least know what was happening, so you could regulate your emotions. And either I can't actually remember if you said to me or not what you were that you were
I
feeling
feel
that
like I
foul and
just
stuff.
said I was just feeling really withdrawn, really internal.
Yeah.
Um,
Sorry. What's the word you used today as well? Very self something. What's the word?
as a self-conscious self.
Yeah. Didn't that kick in?
I did. Where I was just kind of like comparing myself to me. That's been a theme this month anyway, but I think that was definitely part of it with the mood. And when I do talk about the mood, for me, it just felt like I wasn't necessarily in control of it. However, I don't think anybody else noticed. Like I think
Yeah.
maybe just you because you're
Yeah.
with me all the time anyway,
Yeah.
but that was it. Like it wasn't like anything else like that. But yeah, honestly, stoked with that. Stoked
Yeah.
with that. So now I'm in
Stoked
my
fire.
luteal phase at the moment. So next week. And so it will be the start of the next cycle. And
Mhm.
I'm really excited to see what that one's
Yeah.
like as well. And yeah.
Absolutely. So main points there. We'll stop chatting about that one in particular and start chatting about what we did and maybe
Yeah.
expectations moving forward. First thing I'll say is your next one might be even better or worse or the same. And we're not chasing like perfection and stuff like that. We're not like the worst thing I think you could do is care too much that your next one's not going to be as good and create like a
Mm,
stress about it. Like we haven't chatted
yeah. No.
really about this next one, expectations like, oh, I hope the next one's good. I hope it's all like that. It's like maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Whatever happens, we'll figure out along the way. We're all okay. So I just wanted to mention that. And
Yeah.
for people just starting, for girls, if you're just looking to we're chatting about mainly cycles, periods, endo,
Mm,
PCOS. So we are chatting mainly about that. But as you and I have been chatting, or as you've been listening to me, as I've been going freaking nutty lately with this stuff, if you're looking to fix anything, if you have endo, if you have what you had and your periods are really painful, really heavy, really long, you are out of balance
mm.
and you need to bring yourself back into balance, which we'll chat about in a sec. But I believe it really does seem to be that we're lacking in energy. When you're lacking in energy, your body can't produce enough energy. It starts leaching things and attacking things. You get told that your body's attacking itself, but it's a lack of energy. And if you're going through period stuff, then I hope that this really helps you to say, okay, it is fixable. I know everyone's different and some people might take longer, worse, but you can make differences and it doesn't have to be just that type of stuff. So they're just the two things
Yeah.
that I wanted to say straight away is yeah, we're not married to or attached to what happens next. It's a long game. We'll continue learning. It will
Yeah.
be
And then maybe
interesting.
one that's back to normal, like back to how it used to be. And then the next one after that might be better than the one I just had. Like it's a curve. So happy
Yeah,
to
more
just
learning.
go
We
with
had alcohol last night, so that'll be
it.
interesting.
Mm,
Okay, what else did I write down? Oh, I just wrote down, yeah, that I did mention now, suggested to you last week that we start tracking calories. So
yeah.
two things, or one thing that happened twice in the last however long since our last chat was one time you did come home from work with a migraine, and then last week I think you were struggling. I don't think you came home though, but you had a headache all day as well. And I
Yeah.
truly believe my gut is it's always after training. I think they're both after deadlift day. I remember the first day I said to you, like you trained, you come home and had like a light dinner
Mm,
and maybe went to train the next day as well or something like that. No, you had
I
to come
did.
home
Yeah, I did.
And then this time was after heavy deadlift day as well, migraines. So I'll speak to it in a second, but do you have anything to
Mhm.
say on that?
Oh, just that for me, the pain and what I was kind of feeling as well is what I used to get when I was in my fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome bubble that lasted 2 or 3 years. That was the pain that I felt. And I did say to you, I used to feel this every single day.
Wow.
And that's still crazy to me that now it's like once in a blue moon if I push myself too far or not fueling myself properly or stuff like that, not prioritizing recovery properly. The fact that it's just like once very randomly kind of thing instead of every single day, it blows my mind. But that's what I was feeling. Whole body muscle pain, weak. Like I wouldn't have been able to lift anything, weak.
And then
Like I
you
was
came
getting
home
sick,
with a
but I
migraine. Yeah.
wasn't sick.
Yeah.
And I had the headache and the kind of spins in the anyway, that's what it was like. But that's
Yeah.
what I go to.
Okay, so this happened twice over the last however many weeks, not cycle related, I believe. So I'm just going to chat about this is just my hunch. The first time it happened and you came home, I was just like, oh, what could it be? People think dehydrated a lot of the time. People think cycle stuff a lot of the time, and it definitely could have been. But I truly believe, because I live with you at the time, almost living with you, seeing you so much, there's no Bailey has a new energy. We've been working on her food and her body is getting stronger and more healthy. She can now push herself a decent amount in the gym. Those sessions are now more taxing and recover more energy, need more energy to recover from it. So I really believe that Bailey's not eating enough to support her new vitality. You're now more energetic, you have more to give, and your body's doing it. You're out there, we're talking, we're living, we're walking, we're eating well, we're training. And then some days you're not topping it up enough and still doing it, still doing the thing, even though maybe there were some signs and you were tired, but you're doing the thing because that's what you do now and you have the ability, but the body can't keep up and it brings you crashing back down. And there's just no way that you're eating enough for those heavier deadlift sessions to
Yeah,
recover from that. So that was just a hunch. It's just something we're going to follow. I'm not saying that's definitely what it is, but we both agree that it
it
definitely
felt
could be
right.
that.
Yeah.
So what I've suggested to Bailey is we're going to start this week. We kind of started last week a little bit, but we're actually going to start tracking calories. Anyone watching this that knows me, I'm not anti-calorie. Like I know they exist, but I don't think they're not as perfect as people believe. Won't get into too much it here. Too much. Won't get into it too much here. But I truly believe Bailey will benefit from tracking her calories because we've got the foods that we eat now. And I want you to continue eating those foods, and we'll set a number. We haven't even chatted about the number yet. Maybe we'll
No.
do that. Maybe we'll do that here. That's what this episode can be about, maybe. But I think Bailey needs to, stop skipping breakfast. I've been making breakfast for you, but it is pretty small. But that's okay because it's still more than what you were
Yeah.
having. So yeah, we
Yeah.
can slowly build these calories up. My goal
Mm.
for someone like Bailey weighing, have you weighed yourself lately? You're still around 53,
55 the
54,
other day. So
55.
I got
Great.
up.
So without worrying about Bailey's weight, I would really like her if she's training 3, maybe 4 times a week, being a mum, thinking, listening to my bullshit. I really want Bailey to be maintaining her weight and feeling fantastic on 2,000 calories at a minimum. Now, if we go to 1,600 of these foods right now and it starts make you forcing, like that's I'm talking 2,000 calories, not forcing, feeling
Yeah.
good, weight is stable, and then we'll bump it up a little bit from there. If that's too much for now, we don't force it. We'll see where it's
Yeah.
at and what you're roughly having. But someone of your weight and how much you're moving, I want you to end up in 2, 3, 4, 10 years from now. Who cares? I need you at 2,500 calories or more
Yeah.
slowly by then. So that's my goal with Bailey for that. Girls should be having, you and I were listening to that stuff from the 40s. Back then, they were having 2,500, the ladies back then, like at a minimum, a sedentary type of person,
Yeah.
which is, I'm sure they were still busy back then, but, girls weren't really training back in the 40s, is my understanding. So they were still
Mm.
having 2,500 or more calories. So someone training, yeah, we're going to build your calories up. That was the point.
Yeah.
That was the point of this. So I
Yeah.
think tracking is worth it for you to learn, to remind you to eat, to have these goals.
Yeah.
But we're also going to make sure that we're listening to hunger cues. It's not bulking by any means. We're just trying to support that Bailey is now becoming more healthy. So she has more to give. You have more energy to give. And the more you can give, the more you need back.
Yeah.
And if you get in this cycle of, okay, this is how much I train, I do this, I do that because I've got all this new energy, but then you stop feeding that energy, but you
Yeah.
keep, I'm a bit tired, but no, I train 3 or 4 times a week. I'm a bit this, but no, this is what I do. I force it. So yeah, that's what we're going to do there. And I think a
Yep.
lot of people are doing that. A lot of people are burning the candle at both ends. Hey, like
Yeah.
saying, forcing themselves when they're tired to go train. And you and I have chatted about this recently. I'm actually going to stop. Not that I ever really
Yeah.
did, but PTs out there, stop forcing your clients to train sometimes if they're struggling and low on energy because they're low on energy for a reason and maybe training isn't the right thing. Anyway, I just word vomited for ages. You got anything about the tracking and how much you think you're eating or what you've done in the past with
Yeah,
tracking?
yeah. Yeah, as we were talking about this morning. So I've never actually tracked calories before. So I've had a couple of PTs in the past. I've done coaching and had meal plans and stuff like that. Never tracked calories, only tracked macros. And the main focus of my macros was to increase my protein intake. So I didn't pay attention to the other macros. That one was kind of easy because I was on a meal plan, so I had everything planned out. But I did still feel like I wasn't hungry enough to do that. Like it was a quite a big jump from what I was eating. So I did struggle with it and I fell off multiple times. And yeah, really struggled with it. But I think this time, because we have our foods that we eat are pretty routine and structure now, like I know what I need to have after training now, thanks to you educating me for the first time. I swear, like when we came home from training the other day and I'm like, yeah, I want protein, but I also need carbs and I
Yeah, you
need
did it
juice.
yourself. Yeah. Yeah.
And I didn't even have to ask you. And that's 6 months ago, I wouldn't have been able to do that. So
Yeah.
I think it's a good way for me to make sure I'm eating at work, not just sitting there all day. Make sure I am eating breakfast. Obviously, having you cook it for me is the easiest thing in the world because I just go and completely stuff my face and then go.
Yeah,
But
I've just been making Bailey eggs on toast. It's normally lately it's been one egg on one bit of toast, hasn't it? You have a coffee and some juice. So
yeah,
one
and
egg
that's
on
it.
sourdough, one egg on sourdough after a coffee, and then you wash it down with some juice, which we're having right now. We just finished. What did we just have? It was grape.
Grape, blood orange, and lemon is this one.
Yeah, that was a really nice one. Enjoy that one. So I've still been smashing my orange juice, but and encouraging Bailey to get on the OJ. One thing I wrote
Yeah,
down before, sorry, was you mentioned to me a couple of weeks ago that this is most likely either the happiest you've been with your bod or the best. Do you remember?
yeah, yeah. I think last night really helped kind of cement that in my brain as well. Because I used to compare myself to 19-year-old me,
Mm,
and that was before I had Mackenzie. So the couple of weeks
yeah.
after I finished school, where I was just like, wow, this is like my peak right here. You
Is
know,
that when you were
I'm
tracking macros as well, or not near? That was
mm-mm.
just that was just through
That
cheer
was when it, yeah, it was cheer and gym.
and
It
just being a
was
19-year-old. Like,
under eating, fast metabolism, just being 19.
yeah.
That was the thing. I was training twice a day, every day, hardly
Okay.
eating, not
Yeah.
only
And was this
drinking.
after? Is that when after had you'd recovered from the fibro and chronic fatigue?
Um, no, but I wasn't doing. That's a good question though. I hadn't. It was something I was still struggling with, but I was kind of at the stage where I just kind of tried to ignore it as much as I could, and I would
Yeah.
just burn out. I
But
just run,
when
run,
were
run.
you around that best time? So you're training twice a day, really not eating much, but happy with how you
Mhm.
looked. When
Yeah,
were you diagnosed with endo? Just after that or before?
it was in that period. So like I
Okay.
was going through it when I was 19, and I got the diagnosis kind of then,
Yeah.
but wasn't had surgery until 10.
So I just
So
wanted to make,
timeline.
I just want, yeah, I just want to get that timeline because apart from
Yeah.
now, whether it's true or not that that's the best you looked, or your views were that's the best you looked, you were
Mm,
training lots, not eating much, but you looked great and you got diagnosed with something. You'd had something prior, which was fibro and chronic fatigue.
yeah.
Still able, after a while, you were able to push yourself,
Push
not
through.
eat, and still look what you thought was good back then.
Yeah.
And you had this underlying endo. So what I'm saying is
Yeah.
health, you can look a certain way. People can have muscles. People can be very lean. It's actually easy to be lean when you're running on stress hormones.
Yeah.
So it's what I'll be chatting about moving forward. So I just wanted to get that out there is trusting how
Yeah.
people look, trusting the people that are maintaining a lean physique because they're not eating really much, and training lots, and they're maintaining a lean
Yeah.
physique. They can still be running on so much stress hormones, and there's just so much going on inside their body, inside, yeah, I'll say their body, but I was going to include
Yeah.
myself. Like I don't think I'm doing that, but I feel a lot better now than I did a couple of years ago.
Mm.
So it is possible to be lean and look great and still feel okay. Like they're still going to have some type of energy because the stress hormones are giving some energy.
Mm.
But it's that chronic state of staying there, and you'll see a lot of athletes when they stop training and things like that, they get overweight, and it's not actually just because of calories that they eat more calories, they're not burning as much. They've totally changed what their body's running on, and now that the
Yeah.
stress hormones aren't there and things like that. Anyway, so just really important that the best you ever looked is now. I think it is from what
Isn't
I've seen in
I
photos and
think
things like that. But you actually said
yeah.
the other night as well. Said you said you
Yeah.
were getting close to the best you've ever looked. And I think I questioned you on it. I think I said, well, show me then,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I
And I
don't
went and I
believe.
looked.
Yeah.
And I got the photo up that I have in my head. Like if I was thinking, oh, the best I ever looked, I looked at it and I was like, actually,
Hang on, hang
I
on.
feel
Yeah.
like the only thing was my longer hair that was fake anyway. So I was looking at it and I'm like, okay, maybe not. And then yeah, last night, getting dressed up, I was just like, okay, no, this is
This is the
and
best.
it's
Yeah.
definitely the best I've ever felt. Like
Awesome. Good for
I'm
you.
glad that like, it goes hand in hand. That
Yeah.
now the best I've ever looked is also the best I've ever felt, rather than having this kind of not fake thing, but just kind of like I look back and I'm like, yeah, that was best, but I wasn't eating right. I was
Yeah.
overtraining. I was in
Yeah.
pain and this, that.
Yeah.
So
But
I'm
that
glad that
could have,
now.
you could have done so much damage during that time. I'm sure the damage was
Oh
already
yeah.
there and things like that. But many girls, many guys were chasing this certain look and this certain feeling. And I I'm going to keep chasing. I'm going to keep doing it as well. I can't wait to be lean again. But at the moment, it's
Yeah.
part of like this process. And um, if you're looking to look and feel a certain way, not everyone's going to listen to this. I think everyone has to go through it and burn themselves
Mm.
out and see some bad results as far as chronic disease and things like that. Sorry for laughing, but the answer to being lean and looking great is eating.
Yeah.
You have to have something, you have to build up to something and then spend some time cutting. You have to build it back up and spend some time cutting. It's not bulking, just giving the body enough energy. Spending too much time in a lack of energy, don't have to call it calorie
Yeah.
deficit,
Yeah.
but not being able to supply everything the body needs, too much time there is causing disease. It is what's causing gut, gut and intestinal, skin, mood, irritability, all these issues that we have, obesity even the chemicals that are being released when we're constantly restricting. And if you're a girl eating under 2,000 calories, I believe you're restricting. Guy under 3,000, you're restricting. If you're a girl having under a training, a female having under, I'll make it up, 150 carbs a day,
Mm.
you're restricting. You need to spend more time out of that. If you're a guy having less than 250 grams of carbs a day for too long, you're restricting. And there's going to be side effects of that. And this is why we see people in their 30s and 40s or 50s or whatever age getting sick or dying of something.
Yeah.
Oh, but he was fit. Oh, but he watched what he ate. Oh, but he did this. Oh, but he did that. And then no one can make sense of it. And they blame that stuff. People are blaming that type of thing. And it very well could be. But they've also been restricting and not knowing it for
Mm.
years and years and
For years.
years. So
Yeah.
I'm going to be pushing it, but we got to get these girls. I'm going to focus on the girls. The guys will just happen. I'm a guy speaking about it. But girls, we got to build their calories up to 2,000 needs to be like a minimum. I need girls out there maintaining their weight, feeling fantastic, having great periods.
Mm.
The world is full of girls like that. The men will then become better. I think if I could have had to fix which sex first, I'd pick the girls. I'm like, the guys will
Oh.
follow because the girls aren't going to choose low standard guys. If we build these girls up
Mhm.
and they're
Yeah, you're
confident
right.
and they're not this and they don't need that, we'll build them up so they're only attracting the highest caliber men. So the men won't be able to be just slobs anymore. Not the guys are slobs.
Yeah.
Guys won't be able to be lazy slobs anymore.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
that was a
No,
big
absolutely.
side quest rant. Yeah, where did that come from? That wasn't on my notes. Tracking. So speaking of macros, what we'll do, I'll let you know because you don't know yet. And anyone that's watching, what we'll focus on with Bailey is building up to 2,000 calories eventually and maintaining weight, whatever the weight is. With these
Mm,
foods and with the training and everything, it won't be fat. It just will not be fat.
yeah.
We'll slowly build up, or at whatever pace feels necessary, we'll build up. We will aim for, I like the zero 0.6 per grams of protein. So for you, per pound, what are you, 130? So a bit less than maybe 100 grams of protein. I'll say on, can we get a couple days where we boost above 100 and those other days it'll be a bit below.
Mm,
We're going to make sure that try to get double the amount that of carbs would
yeah.
be the end goal. If that doesn't happen immediately at the start, that's fine. And then fat will be the remainder. Fat's going to be very easy because we're having eggs, we're having beef, we're having, have a bit of milk. We might start
Yeah.
slowly introducing some dairy and milk. I'd love to get some dairy into Bailey. You've suffered from gut issues with dairy before, though, haven't you?
Yeah, yeah. I'm really sensitive is the word I would say to it.
Yeah, very
Just
sensitive. So that'll be interesting. We'll mention that right now. We'll see if that fixes itself up because you're not actually lactose intolerant. You're out of balance.
yeah.
And we can bring the body back into balance. So I'd love if you could have a little bit of dairy, slowly start introducing it. You could have the raw milk. Remember, you had the raw milk and that was
Yeah,
fine.
that was fine. That didn't give me any symptoms of what I would have if I had full cream milk.
Yeah. So we're going to aiming. So if we say 100 calories from protein, 100 grams of protein, sorry, that'll be 400 calories a day.
Mhm.
If we have double the amount of carbs, then that's 800. So you're on 1,200 calories just from those targets. We set your protein first at the lower, at like a nice end. The point six, I like the 0.6 to 0.8
Yeah.
per grams per pound of body weight. So it's going to be around 100 for you. Just makes it a nice, easy number. I like double the amount of carbs.
Hmm.
So there's 800 calories, so 1,200, and then the rest will be from fat and just being a little bit out of whack. But we are going to make sure that you're carved up. The body loves carbs, needs to use carbs. We won't chat about the exact type of foods this time, but that's basically all we're going to do. And then as we increase your calories, your protein will stay roughly the same. It'll just
Hmm.
be, as we up the calories, you'll just notice it's really easy to get 100
Mm.
because you can get it from like all the fruit you're having will start adding it up, and the rice and the potatoes, there's little bits of protein in that. So it's just like the more food you're having, it really gets easy to get the protein up. So
Yeah.
protein will roughly stay always the same for you, just around that 100. Even as the calories get more, you just get to eat more and more carbs, which means like more bread, more juice, more milk if you end up liking it,
Mm.
more yogurt, more fruit, more all the stuff that we're having, you just have more of it. And you don't have to go
Yeah.
nuts. Like your plate won't be 90% protein. When people are just chasing that protein amount, they're just having so much protein. So the protein foods that we choose that we're having with Bailey, they have the most nutrients. That's where Bailey's getting the nutrients from. We're not going to go nuts with the veggies, which people I think used to believe was the best for nutrients.
Yeah.
But now, so we're going heavy protein for the nutrients. The carbs are there for nutrients and for moral support. The carbs are there so that the body has something to use always, so it doesn't have to go to the protein
Yeah.
and break
Well,
down
what I
that.
was I was going to quickly say as well is what I'm excited for with this is trying to hit those macros and the calories, but without protein powder this time. So last time when I
Okay.
was
Oh
doing
yeah, true.
that,
Yeah.
like I'm excited to actually get it from food. And I
Yeah.
think that's something important to talk about as well. Is last time I did do it, it was like protein powder in pancakes for breakfast,
Okay.
protein,
Sure.
protein this, protein that. And so
Yeah.
I'm excited to get it from natural sources
Food.
rather than
Yeah. Natural-ish,
from
natural most of the time food, but actually getting it from food. So when we talk
quality
about
food.
this, yeah, when we're talking about these symptoms being the symptoms of low energy, I believe your body will be able to heal endo or heal anything if it has enough energy to do so. It can only create energy if it's got enough vitamins and minerals, and if it has energy to create the energy. So we're asking Bailey's body to start creating more energy, which means it needs vitamins and minerals. So we can't just get away with protein powders and junk food and say, oh, you hit 110 grams of protein today, but it was from McDonald's chicken nuggets. It was from just reheated
Cheap protein
crap.
shake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're still avoiding the seed oils and the polyunsaturated fatty acids that interact with the cell's metabolism. So all the energy, all the food we're having is actually able to be used for energy, not blocking the energy system. So even if we don't hit the protein requirements every day, as long as you're still getting like really close to it, you're getting so much good food with so much vitamins and minerals, and your body can do the rest. We want to give it everything so it doesn't have to do anything extra. But if we give
Mm.
it quite a decent amount, and people out there, if you just do pretty good most of the time, you're going to feel so much better. And the more you start eating, the easier it is to hit the requirements. Like imagine when you're on 2,500 calories a day, imagine your calcium and your iron and things like that. Imagine
Mm.
how easy it's going to be hit when you're having just heaps of bananas and heaps of grapes and heaps of strawberries and yogurt and OJ and eggs and meat. It's just going to be, your body's just going to have all this stuff, and your body's going to be like, okay, I can help your brain think and I can help you keep calm, but I can also help your lungs a little bit. I can do this, and your liver needs this. And now that the
Mm.
liver's working better, this can happen. And oh, you want more muscle, you want more strength, you want more energy for the gym? Here you go. Because you've got
Yep.
everything, and we can get it from food. We don't have to like restrict and just try and just get by.
Mm.
Got a bit
Yeah, no, just
exciting.
taking my body out of the survival mode that it's been in for 20 odd years
You and
now.
everyone else.
It's crazy.
You and everyone
Crazy.
else. Yeah, so we will be doing it with natural food. So yeah, this bioenergetic view of health, I think, has really, to me, it's helped link together things that I was already noticing but couldn't quite put a name on. Remember,
Yeah.
I was coming up with the light diet. I was trying to describe that the foods that seem to really work the best, they work because they've been exposed to the light. It's everything that's been outside. It's natural foods. It's like I was onto something, but there was
You are.
already this whole demographic over here of people and scientists and doctors and shtickwicks like me that have found this bioenergetic view of health, and it kind of links together everything. But I didn't know that this existed over here yet. So
Yeah.
I'm obviously really excited by it because it's kind of, I had all these puzzle pieces over here in a hot mess, and I was trying to do it on my own, and I found some research and stuff out there that's helped me link it all together. So maybe we will leave it there before we get cut off early like last time, because that happened.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
closing
Can you see the
arguments?
countdown now?
Huh?
Can you see the countdown now?
No,
Oh, it tells me.
I got
That's
no
good.
countdown. Closing
Oh,
arguments for
okay.
you? Oh, it's at the top. Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Closing
Um,
arguments for Bailey.
closing arguments. Oh. No, I'm just well, what I said to you this morning is just like if you had told me 6 months ago that I would be at the stage of healing that we're kind of at now and having cycles like the one that I just had, I wouldn't have believed it. At that point in time, I was bleeding like crazy, and it was that mess of coming off the pill, and I was like so stressed about it, didn't know what I was ever going to do. And now, and literally the main things that have changed is my diet, training is just I was training then too, and all of that, but the main thing
Mhm.
is removing myself from the environment I was in, new environment, and trying to lower stress where we can, and all of that. But the main thing has been the food, the quality of food. I just go for the higher quality now. I don't even think twice about it. I go for that stuff, and that's really cool. I've never done that before. Um, and yeah, cooking all of our meals.
Yeah.
No, no
That's the
take,
hardest
no
part, isn't it?
maintenance.
That's the hardest part for people. Eventually, guys, sorry to cut you off, Bailey, or
No, no,
killing it
you're
there,
fine.
but this is what I do. I've ruined people's closing arguments.
My flow.
Um, ruined the flow. And I've already forgotten what I was going to say.
Hmm. Well, yeah. Well,
Oh,
that's
the
what I was.
cooking. Sorry. No, it's
Yeah.
like if you want to fix, like you can't even do these if we would go with the meal, what are they called? The meal companies, the
Oh, yeah. Like the My
don't
Muscle
name any.
Chef.
Okay, yeah.
Oh,
I'm trying not
sorry.
to name it. It doesn't matter.
Mm.
Yeah, even going with those, it's
Pre-done meal.
like we need, yeah, the pre-made meals and stuff like that. Getting away from the fact that you have to microwave it and it comes frozen sometimes and things like that. But those foods, guys, they're cooked in stuff that's going to disrupt your metabolism or your cell's ability to produce and feel energy, create energy, I should say.
Mm.
We got to get away from, you have to get back to cooking. That's probably the one thing with this that's like, if like Bailey, girls out there are, they're not going to see this. They're going to see someone else's stuff, and they're going to go restrict carbs and restrict calories to fix their thing. And they're going,
Mm.
we know that they're just going to get worse. They might see some initial results through cleaning up and exercise and stuff like that, but they're not going to
Yeah.
fix things. So how do we beg? Like there's people out there that we care about that are going to next
Yeah.
week. It's Monday tomorrow. It's even a new month, I think. I don't know.
They'll start. Yeah.
There's going to be
Last
some
six
girls
months. Yeah.
starting restricting tomorrow in order to fix this stuff. So maybe this gets out to someone. Just I can't. Doing this isn't going to make you shredded. It
Mm.
might. but I can't promise it's going to make you shredded.
Okay.
I can't promise it's going to be, but you'll be by this summer. If someone started this now, imagine by summer, or
Yeah.
imagine by next summer, put off to next summer when actually we can do this for 12 months and then start cutting in 12 months from now.
Mm.
But from a
When
healthy
you're
place, in a
healthy.
place of abundance and a place where you've got muscle and you feel like doing all
Mm.
this stuff. But you are going to have to cook. These people are going to have to cook or get someone to cook for them.
And I think the biggest excuse when that I had with cooking is I don't have time, I don't have
Yeah.
time. Now I'm making a loaf of bread every night. Somehow I found the time to
Yeah.
not only cook dinners and cook meals
Yeah.
and whatnot, but also bake bread for all of us every night as well, which takes
Yeah.
about 2 hours in total. So I think that when you are finding yourself saying these excuses, write them down and really like look at, am I like, is this accurate to right now? And just know that it might not always be like that. And you might be able to do that when it's important to you.
And if
But
you
yeah,
work, if anyone was to work with me, I really think not that I'm the best with time management, but I think that what I've learned about it and what I'm helping us both with, I even did it for us today. I've got some ideas on time, and I think it
yeah,
works because I
it
went
does.
from being stressed and not being able to get stuff done today to having a nap on the couch.
Mhm. You did, you did, you did. You turned that around good, didn't you?
I turned that around. So I know some people are super busy. So
Well, yeah, but in saying that as well, like that's the thing is if I can do it working full time, having a kid, juggling everything that I do and training most days and
yeah,
stuff like that, driving a fair distance to and from
yeah.
work.
You would
Like,
be one of the examples of, yeah, I know there's people out there doing more than Bailey, but if you
yeah,
saw
oh,
what she
absolutely.
does, if you saw what she does, she's one of the people that's like, yeah, she's doing it in spite of how much stuff. And not every day. Some days aren't perfect and stuff like that. And you're still seeing these results. So girls out there, my closing argument, sorry, we've only got a minute left. My closing arguments is check out my website at victorianstrengthclub.com.au. There's a panel or a page called Nutrition Coaching and Healing, Metabolism Healing, which is what we'll be doing. It's month by month. I would suggest committing to at least 4 months, assuming that's going to take 4 months and then going from there. But you'll learn what to eat, what not to eat. And then as things pop up to do with like stress and time, understanding chemically what's going on, I think is going to help people a lot with how to deal with their stress, what the
Yeah,
body does, and what can help alleviate that stress outside of just breath work or staying calm, reminding yourself some mantras that you've learned and stuff like that. There is stuff that you can actually do with your food to help mitigate the effects of stress. All right.
yeah,
Thanks so much for sharing everything. Can't wait to share this with people and keep chatting about this kind of stuff.
yeah. Okay.
All right. Thanks, babe. See you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.